But yeah, let's get into it, man. This is You Ain't Heard of Us, season 2, episode 2.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I meant to go back and see. I think we had 20 or 21 episodes in the first season, so we're on like episode 23. I'm trying to keep tabs on it that way too, because I want to like hit the milestones with the 50.
Right. So we have the overall number.
Yeah. So we need to catch up on that. You can like, follow, subscribe, share, review, stream, wherever. We're all over the place. We have a whole season to catch up on if you're just getting into this now. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we'll have some new listeners from this episode. So Linktree / You Ain't Heard of Us, or just check us out anywhere, YouTube, all your podcast platforms. We got merch, youaintheardofus.store. And shouts out to H-Train, our in-house graphic designer. He designs all of our imagery. We got some cool stuff on there. Go check it out. And then I just want to shout out our sponsor, topofthegalaxy.com. This might be new to you, Reggie.
Yeah, this is our first sponsor.
Yeah, shouts. Based out of Austin, Texas, actually, which is cool. But okay. Topofthegalaxy.com is basically an online head shop. They supply all your smoking needs for medicinal patients around the country, CBD patients in Texas. They've got your vaporizers, your rolling supplies, all that, glass, G-Pen packs, all in brands. And if you use our code YAHOO, all caps YAHOU, you get 20% off your order.
Hey,
man. Why don't go to the store, man? Just get it shipped right to your house, bro, discreet. And there's actually discounts for medical patients too. If you can prove that you're a medical patient and where you're from, where you're ordering, there's discounts for medical patients. And they plant a tree for every purchase made. There's a tree planted, so they're giving back too.
What kind of tree is it?
not that kind. That's what they said on the other podcast too. And we're doing the smoke sessions, man, on our YouTube channel and on the podcast platform as well. Go check that out. We talk about cannabis in Texas. We talk about music production, making it as an artist, bass music, reggae, dub, all kinds of stuff, man. We're gonna go through a lot of Austin, Texas roots in that show too. So yeah, make sure you use our discount on topofthegalaxy.com and go check out the smoke sessions. Make sure you like and subscribe, review, and I'm gonna let you introduce our guest. I don't know if she's here yet, but we can at least talk about her.
Well, our guest today is legitimately one of my favorite human beings in life. She's a goddamn rock star. She's super fucking cool. She's fucking hilarious. You don't know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about none other than Jackie Venson, Austin's own Jackie Venson, incredible guitar player, singer, overall artist. So this should be good. And Jackie is funny as shit. So this should be a good one.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm stoked, man. I haven't been familiar for long. I caught on with her Stubbs performance, actually, that was getting shared around. And then when you had mentioned her as a potential guest, I went and did some digging and was definitely immediately blown away, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, she's badass. Now, most of the time you see her, she's playing guitar, but she's actually like a fucking pianist. You know what I mean? Like classically trained Mozart-ass pianist. You know what I'm saying?
No way. We got
we're gonna go all into that. We're gonna get the backstory, the origin, and all that, man.
It makes sense. She's just being a one person act, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Have to be like
she just texted me, by the way, and says she coming.
All right, cool. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess while we wait for 1 second, do you have any announcements? I could put these maybe at the end or something. I don't know. I'll edit it later.
Do I have any announcements? Anything pertinent? Oh, we started doing butter and jams again.
I saw Jackie was on that, so I was actually maybe gonna mention it.
Yeah, she's played the last 2 with us. And I think next week we got a artist, a lovely young lady by the name of Ivy Roots, singer-songwriter. So she's gonna be our featured guest next week. But for the past 2 weeks, it's been Jackie, and that's been really cool.
Are you where are you right now? You're at a store?
Huh?
You're at the store?
Yep. I had to go to the store.
I was like,
I ran out of supplies.
Nice,
your crib is nice, man.
I'm like, damn, dude, you got a venue right now? What's going on? What's going on?
Pseudo Prince. So how are you doing? How you doing?
I am doing really good. It's just been like good but hectic, but like also I don't like being bored, so like I'm cool with it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
We gonna try to keep you entertained, but I do want to kind of start because I know you're getting ready to go on tour.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that.
Cool.
But I kind of want to start from the beginning and get your origin story. Like, what brought you to music in the first place?
We already did an introduction to like before you got here, so it might seem like we're just kind of jumping into it.
No, that's fine, man. I'm down to just jump into it.
I'm Sebastian, by the way. It's very nice to meet you, Jackie. Thanks for coming.
My bad. I'm rude. I ain't even introduced my co-host.
I figured you were Sebastian because Reggie's Reggie, and it said Sebastian Drew. So I did some deduction, and I went to school. So yeah.
Well, that's a good segue because we're going to start with origins. So I think that I was doing some research and found out. Did you go to Austin High? Is that correct?
No, I actually went to school up in North Austin.
Okay.
Like, you go one more exit at Cedar Park. I went to school in Westlake. I mean, sorry, at Westwood, not Westlake.
Westwood.
Okay.
Yeah, Westwood. And Westlake was our big rival.
Right. I know you can't cross them up.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, that's where I went. And I like never went downtown. Like people think they dream up this story like Gary's story where I like busked and played at the jams and shit. I'm like, fuck no. I was way too scared of downtown. I was literally afraid of downtown until I was like 21.
That's crazy because people normally like people who grew up on the outskirts of Austin, you know, they find their solace in like going to town and fucking experiencing it, right?
No, every time, like the few times my friends would talk me into driving downtown, because what we would do is at 16, we would like get bored and we'd want to do something like teenagery. So we would drive downtown and look at all the people being drunk and shit. And then we would go to Katz's because Katz's never closes.
Because Katz's, I gotta tell you.
Because Katz's never closes.
And we would close though.
We would like, well, it's permanently closed.
Yeah,
it's permanently closed.
Sure.
At the time, Katz's never closed. And we would like listen to the music at Momo's while eating Katz's.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Nice.
and both of those places are gone now, by the way.
I know
we're for like 15 years.
I know we're losing a lot of
They're all gone.
like similar places in Austin. Yeah,
It's pretty wild, but it's also okay, you know. When good things go away, well, sometimes the bad things go away too. And like, you know, there's a lot about Austin I don't miss. You know.
Yeah, I can relate. Believe me, I can.
There's a lot I don't miss, man. And so Austin has turned into a really cool, way more diverse city than it used to be. I appreciate that. That's something the diversity is something that I welcome. And the lack of diversity is something that I don't miss. And like, if we're gonna be a city, let's be a city. Like, shit, man. Let's have people like from everywhere, like a real city. If we're gonna be a real city, we got to be a real city. You know,
right.
Like Houston. Houston is so unbelievably diverse. It's insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ain't no telling what you're gonna run up on in Houston.
Very spread out too. So Houston's like it's not as centralized as Austin is. But you know, like with San Francisco, like it's a fucking crazy place now, but it's an extremely diverse and fucking cultural booming fucking city.
Even, I hate to say it, but even Dallas is more diverse than Austin.
Man,
I hate to say it, but I've been traveling and I know what I've seen. I have eyeballs, and there are a lot of Black people in Dallas.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Can let's address this, because I actually saw a post that you made about Blues on the Green recently.
Yeah,
and I thought it was pretty interesting. You mentioned, how they need to, include more diverse acts into their events. And that was a big thing last year, right around that time. It was kind of like a bunch of people were coming out.
Yeah, that was a big thing last year.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I thought. And then I saw you made a post about it, how we're still watching you. I've got more fucking people listening to me now too, so y'all need to do something about it. So just y'all, can y'all speak on it a little bit, just like what's been happening? And I know there's something going on with writers. I don't really want to touch on it too much, and them too, that I've been seeing online. So like a lot seems to be happening from all corners. And I know it's been a long process.
Overall, like, just because I'm not really super connected to what's happening with writers. And,
no, I know. I'm kind of relating.
But what I'm saying is, overall, the reason why you're seeing this is because everything's starting to open up again. And so all of these promises that were made last year, there's been a lot of empty promises in America's history. And frankly, people are tired of it. So the reason why things are starting to, flare up again is because we don't want to go back to the way it was. Nobody wants to go back to the way it was. And we haven't wanted to go back to the way it was for a really long time. We just haven't been bold enough to actually force it. But now a lot of us are in a place, like me, are in a place where we actually can force it. And so that's basically what you're seeing. You're just seeing people hold other people accountable.
Right. Yeah. You was talking all that shit last year about what y'all was gonna do. Now it's time.
Yeah. So here's us doing it. We're not going to just like say that we were going to do it and then just not do it. It's like, no, this is you doing it. If you really meant that apology, like, you're going to change.
Yes, indeed. I was super proud to see you take that stance too, because you didn't have to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But just taking the initiative.
I was just like, I also kind of like did have to, because I was just so fucking tired of it all. And it also, like, it was George Floyd that inspired me to do it, because the worst thing about having to witness stuff like that is that it's not even in my state. Like, how do you fight a problem that's simultaneously happening in every city? And the answer to that question is to focus on your city. And so while there wasn't a George Floyd at the time in Austin, there was something that maybe I could change. Because if we get diverse people and diverse cultures out to the city the way that Blues on the Green performances can do, like 30,000 people attend every other Wednesday. So if we represent more cultures, it's going to attract more cultures. And if we're going to be a real city, we need to have diversity, or else we're never going to be a real city, not a real American city for what it's worth, And so the people of other cultures are not going to go to a place where they don't feel welcome. And having multiple cultures represented on a city event as huge as Blues on the Green, that's one hell of a way to make other people feel welcome.
That's actually a really good point.
So, and then when we bring other people here, we bring other minds here. That's why diversity is so great, because we have access to so many different minds and experiences. And that's why America has in the past been really great at certain things, because we have access to all of like humans instead of just one gene group, and like, that's our strength. That's our strength. And we have to fight it at all different angles. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my dog barking distracted me.
I just went to check if that was my dog. I have little dogs inside just like that.
I think I'm gonna have to go let him in. But what I'm trying to say is, like, the reason why. Sorry, did I go away there for a second?
Yeah, it's all
you good.
I can still hear you.
my sister called me. I'm like, damn it, what are you doing? Anyways, the reason why like Austin is so homogenous is because we've never really advertised ourselves to be like welcoming of other people. And that's the whole point.
It's always been a keep shit within the city. Don't let the secret out kind of place.
It's always really been that vibe, and it's not cool. It's not cool anymore. We're too big for that. So now that we're so big, the only thing that kind of mentality is going to attract is like weirdos and racists. Right. So like we really got to change gears on that shit. And I think that starting with an extremely public event reaches like hundreds of thousands of people every year, like that's going to make a huge dent. And that's why, long-winded story, that's why I had to do something. I had the opportunity to do something. And I've never had the opportunity to do something. I was one of those black mans who was turned away.
Right,
like,
exactly.
You're not a national act. I was literally told that like 6 years ago. They eventually had me on there because Gary Clark Jr. let me go on tour with him. Literally, right. That's what changed it. They're like, oh, okay, now you're a national act. I'm like, I'm sorry, are you guys selling tickets to this? Like, what's with this national act shit?
Right, like, it's a free event, dude. And
I know people who played it. I know what you're paying. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you acting like this? See, they're acting like they have a $100,000 budget for a headliner.
We know.
I know you've probably been rejected by it too. So what I'm trying to say is like I was one of those bands who couldn't draw a crowd. I was.
Well, you are not anymore.
The name of the act, fucking, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm misspeaking here, but the name of the act isn't what draws the crowd to Blues on the Green. I mean, even 6 years ago, it wasn't who played. Yeah, because
nobody.
Been there to
knows
see people who no one around me fucking knows about. You know, like
no, this is what I always tell people when they try to make that argument that they have to get the band that draws the biggest crowd. I'm like, actually, it's the exact opposite because the fire marshal really doesn't want more than 10,000 people there.
Right. For real.
So first that, then also, it's a free event. It's just a city event. It's just a thing that happens. And if you post up on the corner of South Lamar and Barton Springs and ask like everyone who walks by you who's playing tonight, I think maybe 10% of them will know.
Right, totally.
I don't know. I just, it's Blues on the Green, like.
Right, it's Blues on the Green. We just here to have a good time.
Why are you asking me who's playing? It's Blues on the Green. Like,
yep.
That's what they're gonna say.
There to be drunk.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, I just have my cooler and it's Blues on the Green. Like, I'm just coming from the pool. Like, I don't know. Most of them are gonna be like, I'm just coming from the pool. Like,
yeah, I just heard there was something going on. I figured I'd show up.
Yeah, and I remembered, oh, it's that thing that happens on Wednesdays sometimes, and then here I am. You know, and then they'll probably not even know who the bill is. Even if you tell them, they'll be like, who's that? Cool, can't wait to hear him. Don't care. It's Blues on the Green. I'm gonna go anyway. Like,
and I think that's another part of where they were like dropping the ball, because being that it is like a local event, you would think that you want to shine light. There's a lot of really dope artists of all different genres right here in town.
Yeah.
And you would think it would behoove you to like, support the artists that are coming up in your city.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd think. Well, I think now it will be like that. I think this is gonna be a really great summer and a really great lineup, and I think we're all gonna be pleasantly surprised.
Awesome.
You know something we don't know.
Yes. We're all gonna be pleasantly surprised, and I'll just leave it at that. It's all good. I'm serious. Like you should look forward to it.
If you say so, I'm gonna take your word for it, and I'm not gonna press you.
No, it's good. It's good. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it a lot. I'm happy I don't have to fight again this year.
Well, you did a lot of fighting last year, so
it was exhausting.
It's time for you to get some of the benefit of that. You know what I'm saying? For putting in that work.
Time for me to see some cool lineups from my city. Thank you very much. And you know what? I actually have. Okay, so check it out. The biggest change I've seen when it comes to the tastemakers in Austin has been KUTX. Have you listened to that station?
I actually find myself. I find myself listening to it more now.
Dude, every
I
time
drove a Subaru that only had radio in Austin for quite a few years, so I was radio only. Sun Radio, KUTX.
Okay, so KUTX has still not gone back. Like they changed, and it seems like they have a whole different like programmer, like program director. It seems that way. I don't know if that's true, but it seems that way because I'm serious. Probably 9 times out of 10, I turn to KUTX. Like half the time, it's not even in English. It's just like some like all the way different country music. Any country. I heard some stuff. I heard a whole hour of like Israeli folk music. It's like they're taking after NPR a little bit. Like they are really all over the place. And it was an immediate change. It was like right when all this stuff went out about Blues on the Screen, it was in tandem with this like this piece that I wrote for the paper. And it was like asking everybody to just do better, just turn a switch on and do better. And I swear, KUTX turned a switch on and I hear rap all the time. I used to never hear rap. Once a week, rap. Maybe.
Shout out to the breaks. Shout out to the breaks.
Maybe
once a week, but now there's so much now. I heard like a whole hour. The whole hour was in Spanish, and it wasn't just like Tejano music. It was like Tejano music, and then also like really, really old sounding folky Spanish songs, and it was just like really wild. And it's like it's been like that every single time I've turned it on.
That's great. That's good. Good on you, KUT.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. If anybody works over there, here's that. We notice.
Yeah, I've noticed hard because it did not used to be like that. They used to play like rock and indie rock, and that's it. And now it's like everything, man.
I think the population at large is more kind of interested in that because there are certain places that you can go, excuse me, to get your fix of specifically. I want to listen to UGK today, or I want to listen to Madonna, or whatever the fuck it is. But I think like the listening public, when you cutting on the radio, you kind of just interested in what's out there. You know what I mean? What can I find? And when they provide, I want to find something new. I want to discover somebody dope. You know, we don't want to hear the same shit all the time. Like this shit get old.
Exactly. And I don't want to hear the same shit that sounds like the other same shit. Like, okay, like you just played Beatles for 20 years and now you're playing a bunch of young bands that are trying to sound like the Beatles. It's like,
I'll pass.
And then they're like, oh, this is a new band. I'm like, a new band? Cool.
The new band just sounds suspiciously like an old band.
Yeah, it sounds like so much like this old band, and they also kind of look like them.
Isn't that's been the case for music in general for so fucking long too. Like, I guess white rock band music in general is what I would say.
No, honestly, every genre has a stereotype. There's been like there's rappers who are not like pioneers, and there's rappers who are not revolutionaries. There's rappers who definitely follow a trend. For sure.
But there are a lot of them motherfuckers.
A lot. No, this happens in every genre. It does.
I'm just thinking like the rock movements, like you had the fucking White Stripes, the Hives, the Strokes, the fucking,
and then everybody else after them is just them. Yeah. The Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters. I love the Foo Fighters though. I love the Foo Fighters.
I'm not saying these musicians are bad.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not that it's bad, but like you said, it's just like, yo, sprinkle some salt on that motherfucker, man. Put some adobo, put some seasoning on that shit, man.
I don't want to just hear the same type of band like over and over again. It actually does each individual band a disservice. You're just making them all blend together, and I don't even remember any of them.
Right.
When you could have put a rock band before a hip hop band and made it so that they could actually occupy their own lane. I think that like doing this is like a disservice to artists.
You got a really good point there, because like you said, it's not given, when you do this kind of cookie cutter thing, like you said, you can't, it kind of bleeds together,
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about like, festivals and stuff. Like I could see a dope rock band, I could see a dope electronic act, I could see a dope hip hop artist, and they blend They blend everything together because most people don't just listen to. I only listen to hip hop.
Yeah,
I can't stand people like, oh, I only listen to classic rock. It's like, damn, you don't enjoy any other type of music that's outside of this small box. That shit's kind of weird.
That's really weird. There's like so much out there.
Well, that's what they've done by causing this market that's forces artists to fucking make cookie cutter music or any kind of art for that matter.
Or makes an artist who doesn't make cookie cutter music seem like they do just because they're trying to lump everybody together.
Right.
It's weird. But anyway, so
yeah, that was
I think we originally asked me about my background.
Yeah, we were supposed to do the origin story. That's okay. The conversation went. That's how it is when we normally talk. That shit would go zigzag.
So
we were gonna have to touch on.
Maybe bring us back.
We were gonna have to touch on this shit anyway. So I mean, like, I figured we might as well.
I mean, it was all time well spent. However, I will tell you a quick rundown. So my dad is a musician in Austin, and he plays bass, and he played bass with other bands. He also ended up leading his own band, and he did mostly like Motown, R&B, jazz covers. So he did have one jazz band. It was he worked in Columbus, Ohio, and then moved into Austin and had this jazz band that had a couple original tunes on it. They even released a record. But
nice.
But mostly he did covers, because it's really good bread for covers. Seriously, like you can make a lot of good money playing covers.
Money playing covers for real.
Especially when you got like, I don't know, 7 kids to take care of. So
she's Louise. So you got 7 siblings, 6 siblings?
No, I have actually 9 siblings, just that by the time I was born, a few of them were old enough to take care of themselves.
Okay. That makes sense. Ooh, shit, I got 2 and I don't want no more.
That's a lot.
I understand. 2 is a lot. 2 is a good number.
Yeah.
They have each other.
That's what I'm saying. That's all. Y'all play together and leave daddy the fucking alone.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Play together.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. But so he basically was like the example of, hey, look, I have a career in music. It's possible.
Totally.
And I just think that's really huge because a lot of people they seriously think a career in music is like going on American Idol and maybe winning.
Right.
I say that all the time. If you're supporting your family by playing music, you're successful as fuck. We've said it a million times on this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just there's so many ways to make money in music. It's seriously endless, especially with the internet.
Right.
And my dog is playing with a chicken toy now. So
I thought that was Reggie's baby popped up on.
I did too. I'm looking. My baby's not here right now, but I was like, damn, did he show up? Did he pull up?
This is the guy. He keeps on getting into things and barking. He's a cutie pie.
Adorable.
Anyway, he's my fur baby right now. Keep me distracted, I guess. But anyway, I just attribute a lot of my willingness to do this career the way that I do it to just watching my dad do his career.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
That makes sense though. Like a lot of times you need to see somebody doing something or seeing someone doing something that you want to do and pulling it off is it gives you a measure of confidence. It's like, oh shit, this is possible. Like this can be done, and it gives you the opportunity to, or the will and the push it. Like, man, I can do this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what gave you the actual drive to do it though?
Well, seeing my other options for a life.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, so I can work really, 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 really hard, and it takes up most of my days. I'm gonna go outside for a second. Okay. It can take up most of my days, and I can make this very small amount of money for a time, and then a little bit more for a longer time, and then a little incrementally work up. Okay, I can do that. Or I can spend the same amount of time and then it's my own thing. And any money it generates goes to me and I own it.
Bullshit.
And I don't work for anybody.
Bullshit.
How young were you when you had
take a lot of time.
How early on did you think that? That's incredible. I didn't realize
high school.
late 20s.
No, high school. High school.
Wow.
When I had some shitty teachers, and then got to college and had shitty teachers my first semester of college, and I'm like, wow, I'm paying money for this. Like, at least high school was free.
Where'd you go?
Shit. No, but then I'm like, wait a minute. So I went to Berkeley, but
Berkeley Music School.
Lot of money, right? And I'm like, wow, there's still shitty superiors. And then I started to realize this pattern. I'm like, well, if I get a job, the boss is just going to be like the shitty teacher. And then I have to work for this shitty teacher. Except for this time, I depend on the shitty teacher for money, not like some letter on a piece of paper. Like, wait, I eat because of the shitty teacher who I'm smarter than? Like, I'm
smarter than.
I'm smarter than them, and I'm more creative, and I'm just overall better, or else, I'd be here and she'd be somewhere else. And I was just putting it all together after having just shitty teachers and shitty superiors. And I'm like, this is never going to end unless I end it, unless I am the superior.
Man, I wish I could just take what you just said and like fucking frame that shit and put it in schools, because it's like how many stories, like even the Biggie, Biggie, what I'm saying, she called the police on me and like, motherfuckers that told you
even
wasn't
though I
gonna
was
be
just trying
shit.
to feed my daughter.
Yeah. Or every anybody successful, especially Black people, had this thing of like, the teacher told me I wasn't gonna be able to do this.
Or the police officer, or the fucking,
right, or somebody, some authority.
Just the fucking, like, I'm so tired of that dynamic, and I'm like, I need to live a life where I don't have to experience that dynamic, or I experience it as little as possible. And so, I'll totally spend 6 hours a day practicing the guitar. First of all, not only will I come out with a skill that I can make it so that I don't have a boss, I can lead my own band. Not only will I have that, I'll also be able to play the guitar. That's just fun.
Right.
It's just fun.
I think it's really
totally that's worth like 12 hours a day. What the fuck else are you doing? Tell me, what else are you doing?
Yeah, you might as well spend your time, learning a skill or obtaining some knowledge that's gonna make
free you.
Right, just going to free you and allow you to have
that power.
You. Like, think about it. If like you didn't, and you were just like Jackie that worked at CVS.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A shitty boss after having shitty teachers my whole childhood.
Right. Well, you wouldn't. I mean, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, I mean, I love you. I think you're fucking the bee's knees, right? I just think you're the shit all the way around. Human, as a musician. What I mean, as just all of that. But the world doesn't even all the way know you yet, but I believe they will. But I'm saying, if you don't make that jump within yourself, then you don't get to share that beauty and that brilliance with the world. And that shit is going to inspire someone else
to also rage against the machine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You gotta rage against the machine. And the internet has given us so many more rage tools. Like, how many, 500 years ago, we had 0 tools to rage against the machine, right? The internet, like, you could quit your job today and drive for Uber and make like $50 tomorrow and be fine.
Exactly. Now it's definitely, and that's why I say, man, what a wonderful time to be alive. You know what I mean? What a wonderful time.
Given us so many tools to rebel.
As well, being able to reach out to other people and watch other people who are teaching you the shit that you somehow figured out on your own, because back before the internet, you just had the people around you telling you shit wasn't possible, like you were saying before.
Yeah, so it was really important to have my dad. My dad showed me it was possible for the internet, because otherwise I would have just been like everybody else. You either have to be famous and already on television, or you can't make money in music. That's what like the layman thinks. They think, oh, you're not famous and you're not on television, so you must not make money in music. What's your real job?
Right.
Baby, you don't know who the fuck I am.
No, they just don't have any idea the thousands of ways you can make money in music.
And you're coming out of high school, back in the day, the idea was like, if you're fucking in your college days and you're not already successful, you're not going to make it. Like give up.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't make it by the time you're 20 something, you're not going to make it in music.
Oh,
You're not going to make it in shows.
in music,
That's
if
totally
you
not
didn't
the
make
case.
it by the time you were 18,
Right.
you
Man,
weren't going to.
You're out of there. Yeah, you're out of there. They count you
That's
out.
that's what I know a lot of people who used to think that.
Used to. I like how you said used to.
Yeah.
So that means that something has happened.
Oh no, he's doing something gross. I have to stop him. Hey, hey, no.
I love this.
He digs
I
through
love this.
he was whining out the door. That's why I had to go outside. And now he's just digging through the bathroom trash can.
No, you
This
know
isn't
what?
even on my house, man. Like,
My dog
this is
would do
terrible.
the same thing. I would come in the bathroom and like all the tissues out of the bathroom.
Yes.
Like, damn, it's quiet. Where
And
the
then
fuck
I
is
have
he
to
at?
like, yeah, if it's
You gotta
quiet,
clean it up.
something bad's happening.
Yeah, that's the same thing with children. If you got kids in your house and it's quiet, you better get your ass up.
You better
Go
get your
see
ass up.
Go see what they doing because they probably fucking your house up.
Yeah. Oh, you have a nice music room? Yeah, it's been awfully quiet.
Yeah, it would be a shame if somebody fucked it up.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if like your keys, your keyboard had all the keys pulled off of it.
Power chords been chewed through.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Man.
But,
Oh man.
So when
But
you
anyway,
made,
so yeah, that's
you decided-
pretty much the sum of my background. Growing up, my dad was just a huge influence on me. I took private lessons and learned how to play the piano, and then I auditioned and got into Berklee. But I didn't pick up the guitar until I got back from Berklee. I just didn't want to play the piano anymore. I didn't think that I could be unique on it. I thought everybody would just compare me to Alicia Keys. And so I decided to start over because I also like had started getting high for the first time, like right when I graduated. And I just had this like really strong like idea, like you should play the electric guitar and you should like just kill it with the solos. It was just like this idea, like getting stoned with my friend in an alley. And I was like, and I was getting stoned with this friend, and I was like, I just had this crazy echo of an idea to like become a guitar player, like pick up the guitar and like play epic solos and shit and be like one of those people. And
Yeah.
she was like, you mean like BB King? And I was like, yeah.
Exactly, like that.
He just like he sings and he like and then he plays solos and people like want to hear his solos. Like I remember this conversation. It was like December of 2010. And
Wow.
and I was like, I don't know, I just thought about it. I thought it'd be cool because you know, I always try to perform on the piano and it's so boring and ballady and it just never works. Like it's
That's
never
what-
as cool as somebody ripping it up on the guitar.
Oh
And she
yeah,
was
that's
like, I think you should try it. I mean, I play the guitar and I learned how to play chords in like 6 months. You just got to take it seriously. You'll get it. You'll play the piano. The piano's harder. And that was like this like conversation we had.
That's awesome.
one of the things, because me and you are friends, and one of the things that like and I think I learned this early on in our friendship is that you were a pianist and that you actually decided, yo, fuck that. I'm gonna play the guitar.
I just
And
like
that-
had this like idea while getting stoned for the first time, by the way. This is the first few months I'd ever in my life smoked weed. So I just like ever, like really, I started in like December of 2010, like, and it's first time ever. So I made it all the way pretty much to 21 before I started smoking weed. And
That's good. Give your brain
The
a chance
first
to
time-
develop.
the first time I had, yeah, indeed. The first time I had
Fuck yeah.
smoked, like the first 6 months I smoked it, I just had these crazy fucking ideas, like the craziest ideas I could ever, like I couldn't believe they were coming out of my brain. And one of those ideas was to learn how to play the guitar and be like BB King or something.
Hey, my nigga, you did it. You did
Well,
that
it
shit.
just ended up being really viable. I came back to, so like 3 months or yeah, 3.5 months after having this idea, I graduated Berklee. So like I started fooling around at Berklee. I'd ask my guitar player friends for like books that they learned from or suggestions or artists I should listen to, videos I should watch. You know, I just asked all I mined my guitar player friends at Berklee. And then I was like, okay, so I'm gonna learn how to play. They told me what order. They're like, learn how to play bar chords first, and then learn this, and then learn that. So like I did the whole order. I got a private lesson teacher. the first lesson I ever had, the guy, he's a Berkeley grad, by the way. That's how I found him. First lesson I ever had, the guy was like, all right, so you're not like some kid coming in here. You obviously have a goal. So what do you want? And I literally was like, look, dude, I just want to like play fast. I just want to be like, I just want to be like, I just want people to freak out. I just want to fucking play fast. And he was like, okay, I'll teach you how to play fast. It was cool.
And he did. It's the really interesting thing about, and for anybody listening to this, I keep coming back to this because I feel like it's a very important part of your story. Is, you know, I mean, you had an idea, an idea that admittedly you even thought was crazy at the time.
Yeah, because I'd spent a whole lifetime and a whole education on a different and mastered a whole other instrument.
That's so ill to me that you can play the piano. Like, you were like, oh no, I'm actually a classically trained pianist. I said, get the fuck out of here. Like, why are you shredding then? Like, I wanted to shred.
I wanted to be able to play the guitar. It's just so much cooler. I'm sorry. I know that sounds really shallow and not very deep. It's just so much cooler. Oh. Like, you got to be pretty unbelievable to make the keyboards be cool.
Strictly, well, see, that's what I was wondering. We're talking strictly piano, because if we get the Hammond in there and the Rhodes, then there's
yeah, but you still have to be exceptional, because the problem with keyboards is like, if the keyboard player doesn't know exactly what to do, like basically if the keyboard player hasn't listened to every recording that exists, and I actually mean that. I actually fucking mean that, because all the best keyboard players I know have that in common. They have heard every song. They've heard every song.
That's how you build your ear.
You should be able to talk about solos for sure.
They've heard every song. And so every keyboard I know that makes me wrong about guitar being cooler, they have that in common. And so like what I'm saying is, like, if you don't know exactly what to play, it'll bring the whole vibe of the song down. The whole vibe. But the guitar, dude, as long as you hit that distortion and are just like kind of fucking loud, like, and playing the right key, like, you'll probably fire some people up in the audience. They'll probably be like, yeah! You know, like, even if you don't even think that solo was that good, it doesn't matter, because your guitar looks cool and it was loud and fuck yeah, and this is Texas, bitch. Like,
no, but in that sense, you are right. Like, think about like all the rock and roll. Don't nobody want to fuck jazz pianists.
Hardly playing anything, man.
But think about it. Who wants to like fuck jazz pianists? Everybody wants to fuck the guitar player. Nobody want to fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should let you know. You know what I'm saying? You can play a guitar. You can get you know what I'm saying? You can get some attention. You feel me?
Oh yeah. Well, what I'm saying is there's like a lower bar for guitar players, but the lower bar makes it so that if you actually raise the bar, if you go above the bar and then go above that bar, so if you're like 2 bars above the automatically kind of low bar, then it's like you have a superpower. Like, okay, what I'm trying to say is, if a mediocre guitar player can still make like a person be like, yeah, imagine what like a fantastic guitar player could do.
Oh, I know exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for like a motherfucker. Yes. Like, even as a music fan, like when I would first watch you, you know, black girl with guitar, right? And I'm like,
so automatically you're intrigued, right?
Off the top, but I'm like, she can't be that good. And then you play,
because it's a low bar. Because it's a low bar.
That's what I'm saying. But then
for everybody, male or female.
But when you cut that bitch on and you start playing, then it's like, oh, this motherfucker like, is right.
It's almost like you forgot how much you loved guitar because you got kind of comfortable with like whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I say in general, like, instruments they've been so hit hard in the last decade by electronic music and producers. Like, the rock star is very like faint these days. Like, when was the last huge rock star that young people looked up to? Like,
I think we have the only 2 guitar like band rock stars that represent that. We have the only two, and it's Gary Clark Jr.'s and Black Pumas.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
That's it.
Fucking right. Fucking right.
Because
So-
everybody else out of Austin either does country or folk, which is fine.
Totally.
But what I'm saying is like they are like the rock bands
or they're trying to play like fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan.
well,
I mean-
no, Gary's got his own thing going.
No, I'm
Gary
saying in
has-
Austin guitar players. Like, but
Oh,
yeah,
Austin,
totally.
I
I
see.
wouldn't even compare it. I wouldn't compare them. Yeah.
Yeah, no. The cool thing about Gary is that he's branched out to so many different genres at this point
Oh, yeah.
that
Man.
you don't know what he's gonna do next.
Wasn't he
It's
on a
really
Tech 9 album?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you what, bro. This and
Pretty
the
cool.
funny, I follow him on Instagram. They just delivered his SSL board.
Nice.
So I noticed right away, obviously, you're a one-person act. Was
Yes.
that like you learned guitar, you got badass or whatever? Was that off the jump? Did you decide you didn't fucking want to mess with the band? You could do this by yourself, or how did it happen?
I tried to work with bands
That's what I
and
kind of figured.
tried to work with bands, and it was really hard. And they didn't have a lot of time, and I did. You know, I was hosting karaoke for like money. It was making me a few $100 a week. I wasn't rich, but I could pay the rent. And
That's not
I
bad
could
for
buy,
karaoke.
I could
That's
buy
all
a
that
drink
matters.
every other week, you know.
Right.
And I was learning how to play the guitar, and I was hosting karaoke, and I like hosted an open mic once, and I hosted a jam. You know, I was just doing like that kind of music work where you're just kind of party. I was doing a wedding band also. I was just singing in a wedding band.
Wow.
Good way
So
to
you were
learn.
just a singer in a wedding band.
You're learning
Yeah,
how
I
to
really
entertain,
was.
though, right?
That's
Learning
Well,
how to
that's what my
entertain.
dad told me. I was like, Dad, how am I going to make money while I suck at the guitar? And he was like, you can host karaoke. And he's the one who
That's
listed all this stuff.
brilliant.
He's like, I was in a wedding band for a few years. You can join a cover band. You know how to play the keyboard. You don't even have to sing in the cover band. You can join a cover band and host karaoke. You just got to get your schedule right and be sure to be good about that so you don't double book. You know, like he told me all these options of just making just quick cash in music.
Can we just take a pause to like recognize your pops and for being a motherfucking G? You know what I mean?
He knew how to hustle, man.
And giving the game. And I think that's beautiful because you've taken the game and you've enhanced and updated it. And like, man, Jackie, no cap. Like I watched the way that you move, and I watched you have a steady climb and ascent in skill and in popularity. You know what I'm saying?
Well, steady went slow and steady wins the race, you know.
Slowing for sure. Slowing
Yep.
for sure.
Slow for sure. Because then I can see everything happening, and then not very many things get past me, and then I don't ever like lose control like some people do when they ascend.
Yeah.
Right. And you're saying you were doing these things to kind of keep going while you were still learning, I guess, the little side
Yes.
gig. Well, the main gig, not side gig. I guess it's your main.
Well, the main gigs were hustle gigs, and then every now and then I would I had my first band. Oh, this was the question on how I got to being a one-man show. So I'm
Right.
hustling, and so then I finally get to a point where I can play the guitar, and I have, you know, I can play the rhythm parts, and I have like 45 minutes worth of covers. So I'm like, I think I can like land a show somewhere. You know, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to land like an hour show somewhere. I'll learn a few more songs. Maybe open up the show solo on the keyboard. I leaned on the keyboard a lot in my early guitar days. I would bring it and play some songs.
Like, I
Well,
can
yeah,
do this too.
I could
was
sing and play
wondering.
the keyboard. I could sing and play the keyboard, no freaking problem.
Nice.
So if they wanted to hire me for 2 hours, I would do the first hour solo with the keyboard, like I was used to doing, and then I would do the second hour with the band on the guitar. And
the band.
those were my earliest gigs. I played my first gig like that at Mr. Tramp's off of Peyton Gin and 183.
Wow.
Oh,
I know
shit.
exactly where it is
I
because
know
I
that
used to live
spot.
right
Yeah, I
down the
used to live
street
right
on
over there.
Burnett.
I used
With
to
the
live right
really
there.
big bright sign,
I know
And all the
exactly what
beers.
you're talking about.
fucking
That's so
Mr.
funny.
Tramps, dude.
Yeah.
So
I
that
used
was
to
my
get
first
pretty drunk
gig,
at
right?
that spot, actually.
And I'm gonna be real, like I didn't really have a problem with the players and their attitudes. They showed up on time. They they enjoyed rehearsing once a week. They were happy to do it, as long as it went out on Sunday. But the problem was that I couldn't be spontaneous. They had like work schedules. Like there was all these like last minute opportunities that would just pop up. Like, hey, you want to play my beach party tomorrow? I'll pay you $500. I'm like, $500? I get paid like $150 for karaoke. Holy shit. And then I'm like, oh man, no way my band's available tomorrow. It's Tuesday. They work all day. I know them. I know their schedules. Oh, fuck. So I would have to turn down a gig. And I was like, never again. After I had to turn down that $500 gig, I was like,
it's like,
never
fuck that.
again.
I'm going to get that bag.
I could have gone to a party and partied and played for 1 hour. They just wanted me to play for 1 hour. And I could have like done it, but they wanted like a band and not just me on the piano. And like, fuck. I'm like, it's like 2014. Like, isn't there technology where I can just tell them like, well, I don't have the band, but I have a big sound. And that was the first idea. I was like, how am I gonna sound like a band without a band and then not play to a track also?
As you figured it out.
The first answer I ever found to that question was a looper pedal.
Yeah, nice.
So for 5 years, I developed this looper pedal show. And for 5 years, I refined it and tweaked it, rehearsed different iterations of it, plugged in more phrases, more outputs. I tried every looper pedal that exists. There's not one out there that I haven't tried. Still, there's not one out there that I haven't tried.
I'll remember that if I'm in the market.
Yeah.
Right, call Jackie.
Yeah, for real. So I tried all of them and I found this really great one, super intuitive and crazy powerful, and only this big.
Shout them out.
Pigtronics Infinity Looper.
Okay.
Really?
Pigtronics Infinity Looper.
Okay, so the biggest thing about the Pigtronics Infinity Looper was the fact that you could sync it to an external clock.
So you could use your laptop or your program.
Yes.
With...
So then I'm seeing the capability of this. So then I start looking at Ableton. And then I just like, and for about a year and a half, I'm just stuck in this stronghold between like, why don't I just only use Ableton? But then it's like, but I don't want to do a laptop on stage. My hands are taken up. I can't be on the computer. It's like shit's gonna go wrong.
Yeah,
why don't you find a pedal that controls
your
Ableton
interface or some shit? Yeah,
yeah. Like shit fails with the laptop, and then it's like, well, you could do Ableton with the looper pedal. I'm like, well, then what does Ableton do? Then you're gonna have to queue up a beat map. Like, no. Why don't we get a MIDI pedal to control Ableton so that I don't have to control it with my hands? Still unstable. And this is like a year and a half limbo between like the looper pedal is limiting because I can't just play songs. Like everything I play has to be built. I can't just play a song. I can't just be like, take it to the bridge and bridge. Like I can't be like that. I feel like, take it to the bridge and hold on, I'm gonna lay down the beat.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna lay down the bass line. Like, no.
So you want to be able to trigger stuff like ready to go.
Sounds with my feet because my hands and my face are taken.
Yeah.
I'm singing on a microphone and I'm playing the guitar. And also I want to be able to play guitar solos again. I can't play guitar solos in a looper pedal because half the song is building the song. Right. So like, who wants to hear a guitar solo after
that? Then you're a jam band, right?
Yeah, it's just too much shit, right?
Right.
And I want songs because here's the thing. You can make a lot of money as a jam band, but you are cursed to only be able to make that money by touring. Because people aren't going to be syncing your music with, you're not going to get a big $20,000 check for your 25-minute song.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's just real. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm literally just telling you that. Like, songs are powerful.
I love the level of
songs are powerful. And songs do work for you. Songs grow legs, and then they grow wings, and then they get into a rocket ship, and they blast off. And if the song's good,
it's not yours anymore.
And then if the song's good, it's like, it only takes time. It doesn't take, like, sometimes it takes, sometimes it takes marketing. Sometimes it takes marketing, right? But mostly it just takes time. There's so many songs that have been out for so long, and then they became a hit. Like Lizzo's first hit had been out for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, no, and she kept working that motherfucker though. Like,
yeah, she just kept
that's,
playing
you
it
know,
at her shows, and she kept touring. And once the song hits, if the recording is really good, like, okay, like if the person hears, let's say the song is good, and the person hears it at a show, they're gonna remember a few words from it. They might even write it down, and then they're gonna look it up, and then they're gonna save it. And then the more shows you play, the more that's gonna happen. And then it's like literally just perfect correlation, perfect math. That's why I'm such a road warrior, because I spend a lot of time getting the songs to where after I've played them for somebody once, when they go back to the recording, they're just as satisfied to hear the recording as they were when they heard the song at the show and wrote it down.
So can we put it, because that's my name that I came up with for you, the Road Warrior.
It is, you're correct.
No, because and the reason that, like, and I'm gonna keep bigging you up, so don't get shot. But like, I mean, from years ago, I would look up and Jackie would be in fucking Berlin, or
Yeah.
Jackie would be in Italy or some shit. And you know, we friends, so I hit him like, "Oh, you in Italy, my nigga?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give me a Pozzoli or something.
Yeah, for sure. Dude.
You know, and but just to and then, like, I mean, you got a Facebook group called the JV Squad.
That was Louis' idea. He's the digital marketing genius in the house.
That shit was brilliant. It's junior JV, junior varsity.
Yeah.
You know,
And then
so,
squad, like cheerleaders.
Yeah, exactly. And I started to notice, because I'm a top fan on Facebook.
Oh yes,
I don't know.
you have that badge.
I got a top fan badge, but
you do.
But
It's true.
I said all that to say, man, just like to agree with what you're saying, because I've watched you go all over the world and do these songs, and
Yeah.
I've watched the reverberation, excuse me, that has come back. Like you know, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm in your fan group, and I see what people say about you, and I see how you make people feel, and I see how they vehemently support you because they fuck with you on a molecular level. You know what I mean?
Well, because they got attached to one of my songs, and that's all I've ever wanted. I just want people to get attached to my songs, because then I can, like, without not trying to sound like greedy and evil, then I can support myself because I can monetize that. And it's a fair exchange. It's like, look, I spent a lot of money creating this recording. You really love this recording. You listen to it. It makes you feel good when you're feeling bad. It's great. I also spent a lot of time putting a show together to where when you come to the show, you're going to hear your precious recording that you love pretty close to what it sounded like in the thing that you're attached to, but also it's going to be a little bit more jammy and more exciting. And you're going to get an experience. And then you're going to give me $20. And then I'm going to be able to come here in the first place, because, like, it costs money for me to come here.
If you don't,
And I'm going to be able to pay
move
Rodney so that
like
Rodney
we
doesn't have
make
to have another job. You know, like, it's like a perfect exchange to where you pay a little bit of money to the artist that you love and they enhance your life.
And it's going, and the beautiful thing that I love about this and the whole new, like, that money ain't going through a label. That shit going right to your pocket. And that's what I love about the way you figured out. And anybody that's not an artist is just listening to this, that is a fan. Hey man, as artists, we need that. You know what I mean? If you fuck with me, my partner told me something. He said, Reggie, all you need is 1,000 human beings to spend $100 with you.
Yeah.
He said, start doing that now.
Yeah.
So even if they spend, you get 1,000 to spend 100, or you get 2,000. Like, do that math.
Yeah.
You can pay your rent, bro.
Yep.
And you've been like, I've watched you do it in many, iterations. Like you pull it off, but you really, I don't know if you know this, my nigga, but you're blazing a new path, and you're setting a new model for people, just the same way your pops did for you. And gave you the ability to see that, oh shit, this is not impossible. This is something that can be done.
Yeah,
and then
you put the time in.
So how did you putting the time in, how did you manifest this idea to start looping, to create your songs live? And then you said you were doing cover songs before that. So now at some point you're writing songs as well, while all in the same figuring out how you're going to perform it out. And then like when did you decide you were ready to perform these songs, you know, and you were solid, ready to go? What was the process like?
Whenever I can start a song and finish it without having to stop or without making a mistake. If I can start it and finish it and I remember all the lyrics, like, you know how it sounds while you're hearing it. So if it sounded good and I got through it, then I'm ready to perform it, because like, I'm serious, the bar is really low. Somebody told me once that music is a 10th place competition. Basically, no matter how bad you are, people will still clap, because like people are generally good, and you just don't boo people. Like, who knows where they are in their stage of development? They need an audience. Just like, if you don't like it, leave. Like, and I feel like most people are like that, especially in Austin. And so like the bar's really low. So like,
basically, once you figured out how you were going to play your songs, you went out and started playing.
I just started playing them because I think people were just happy to have someone there playing in the first place. And like I said, if it sounds good, it sounds good. Maybe it won't change your life, but like, if it sounds good, it sounds good. Like, whatever. It's just Britney Spears is Toxic. Like, it's fine.
That's the fucking jam, man.
Yeah, that's one of my. I love Britney Spears' "Toxic." I can't.
Toxic is the fucking.
It's a good song. That's why I chose it, and I got through it, and I remembered all the words, and it was fun.
I owe about a year of success to a dubstep remix of that.
From "Toxic." Oh man, it was
really good.
Right here.
Honest to God, the original, like, people think it's like a really good song. They're like, I heard a cover of it, and I found out it's a really good song. I'm like, no, the original recording is fucking badass.
Yeah,
like those crazy little strings. Dun, 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 dun. That's fucking awesome. The beat is like really dry. They make some pretty advanced production decisions with that track. Everybody should give that track another shake.
Oh, if you haven't really listened, like it's if I had a top 100 list of songs of all time, I bullshit you not, "Toxic" would be on that list.
It's a really good song.
You should start writing that list. I would love to see that list, Reggie.
You know what?
You should make it 100 popular. Like, you should like popular as fuck, like PAF, like.
So like songs that everybody knows. So I'm not like telling niggas obscure fucking salsa songs.
No, you can do 100 obscure too. That'll be its own shit.
Oh shit.
You know, 100 popular as fuck, because there's enough songs, believe me.
No. There's more than enough songs.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was the basis under which the thing I was building when I was hustling gigs. And the reason why I was having the time to do it is because A, I have a really great support system. I have a huge family. And B, and most of them are in Austin. So I have a really great support system. And
shout out to the fam.
Yep, shout out to the family. And B, I did those gigs that, you know, they maybe pay $200, but like, we're talking about a 4-hour commitment. So like, I can spend the rest of the day practicing and writing, and then let's say I get $200 and I work 4 nights a week, and it's only like 4 hours, and it's 4 hours at night. It's like from 8 to midnight, and then I'm home by like 12:30, and then I stay up until 5 practicing, and then I wake up at noon, and I work all day on whatever, and then I go to work at like 7:45. It's a really small time commitment for a pretty decent amount of money, and I'm doing 3 or 4 of those a week, and so I'm making like, you know, $600 a week, sometimes $800. Sometimes I would make it. Like, so I was able to have the time because I was able to like hustle little music gigs. Like the wedding gigs were fat. They would pay like $300.
Right. And weddings are dope for DJs.
They were fat, yeah. So those were great. Sometimes I would there was a point where like a 6-month period where I would just do 2 wedding gigs a week, and I didn't have any karaoke gigs.
That's awesome. Because I was actually kind of curious how long you were doing these gigs until, you know, did you get to a point where you were finally just on shit?
Yes. Okay, so actually so it was a total of like a 4.5 year period where I was hustling, where I wasn't making money off of my original music, where I didn't have a lot of original, where I couldn't play the guitar, et cetera, et cetera. That was about a 4.5 year like limbo period where I had to hustle so that I could have the time to learn how to play guitar and also to build a repertoire. So so in that time, I did wedding gigs, I did karaoke, and I did like probably the last year and a half of it, I picked up this church gig.
Oh shit.
At the church gig, you paying
Do a fucking gospel?
No, it was like this really small, like universal church, like universalism, you know?
I dig that. I'm not a church guy, but I dig universal church.
Yeah, I kind of.
Yeah, universalist. That's what it's called, and you know, it's kind of like a mix of a bunch of different religions.
I feel like
It's basically just like a good vibes only kind of like, well, yeah, good vibes only.
I respect that shit. Don't come here with that bullshit.
Well, they also were really real. They're like, okay, this week we're going to talk about Martin Luther King and his contributions. They were like really real. They talked about all sorts of people. But anyways, they needed music because every church needed music, and they paid me $500 a month, and I only had to do 2 Sundays.
Baby, you hit a lick.
So I didn't. So then what I did is I stopped taking the karaoke gigs as much. I was like, you know, I don't really like them, and plus I'm losing out on my practice time. And yeah, it's nice having the extra money, but I don't need it. I'd rather have the extra practice time. So I started easing out my karaoke gigs, and then at about a year and a half working for this church, I finally released like some music, and I was starting to like kind of go on tour. And then I had to ease out the wedding gigs, right?
Right.
And so then it was half original gigs and then this church gig, and that was kind of how I supported myself. And then eventually I started touring so much, and the touring finally started returning some cash, but I'm out of town all the time. So then I had to quit the church gig.
I feel you. But and one of the things, like in listening to your story and listening to every iteration of you leveling up, and just as a person that, like, I know you personally, and I've told you this privately, but just like every time you are presented with a challenge, you fucking figure it out.
Well, it just takes time. That's all.
Well, it takes time and it takes fortitude. So for you to because
it's a lifetime though. Like you actually have a timeline, which is
I'm going and I'm willing to spend it. I have the time. Well, hopefully, you know, people are like, Jackie, are you afraid of death? I'm like, I'm not afraid of death. I'm just uncomfortable. They're like, oh, well, you know, everyone's going to die one day. I'm like, no, it's not that I'm going to die one day. It's that I'm going to die like any day, like anything can kill me. Like, that's what fucks me up. I just like, if I knew I was going to die at 98, I'd be a little more lax about it. But like, I don't fucking know that.
Hey, but you know what? That's a real human emotion.
Yeah,
of like
any day, not one day.
You know, you've already made a couple albums. You're already going to be permanently there forever if you do that. So
I'm just going to keep cranking them out because I have no idea how much time I have.
Straight up, and that's what everyone should do. Get the art out, man. Create.
Man, now y'all making
no idea how much time I have.
Y'all making me feel it like as an artist myself.
Get the art out, Reggie. Get that solo album out.
I can't believe that we somehow, after this entire podcast, came back to Reggie, release that shit. I can't believe it. How did you do that?
Do you know how much of my life is my friends? Like John calls me every 2 months and just cusses at me. And it's like, yo, fuck you. The fuck are you doing? You're not, you know, like every 2 months. And it's scheduled. Like, I know. He's like, yeah, this is your call. Get your shit together. But I will say this, and I got another question after this because that's where I want to go. But you really, with no conjecture and no bullshit and no drunk talk, is like you are really an inspiration, gang. And I want to make sure that you get your flowers. I know we talk privately, but I'm just saying, like, watching the way you move and watching the way that you do things, it has been an inspiration to me, Reggie Colby, personally. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I can only speak for me. I really appreciate your fervor and your willingness to go outside of your comfort zone, and just even speaking to you today and talking about your practice regimen. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very, very proud of you. No, dude, fuck that shit. You deserve it, dude. Like,
well, I appreciate it.
You're fucking awesome. Now what I want to know is because I feel like this is where we can get some exclusive shit, C-Dash. What's next? Like what, or not even what's next. I don't want to know your calendar or anything like that. But you've demonstrated the ability to continually exceed goals that you set for yourself. So now I want to know what goals. What
okay,
goals?
I'll tell you what I got.
You know, you ain't got to.
Of course, I don't have. I'm more like a 5 years or less kind of chick.
Okay, well,
and
give me that.
The next 5 years. So I am releasing a blues album in September, and I think that the blues album is going to be very well received. And so it's going to be a lot of people's first discovery of me. So I'm going to have to juggle being launched back into blues guitars, even though like I do everything. Like just please listen to Vintage Machine. Like I hope that these new people listen to Machine.
He been listening to Vintage Machine all day.
Yeah,
Vintage Machine is really the closest thing out there. That's who I am. And Joy is all over the place.
Joy's good. Joy's a good record.
That's a very interesting perception though, because you think that this album's gonna blow even bigger, and it's gonna be blues. And
so it's gonna be a lot of people's first exposure. So like they're gonna have to the real ones are gonna go and see everything that I have online because I'm gonna leave it all up.
Yeah,
and hopefully they just listen to it all, and then it'll be okay. But if that doesn't happen, my next plan after that is to release this other collection of music that is real rocky and very R&B. So it's like literally R&B rock. Like there's just one song that for a lot of it, it sounds like something like Lauryn Hill and the Fugees would do. And then for the middle part of it, it sounds like something like the Rolling Stones would do.
Oh man. I need to hear this.
So the people who really love the blues stuff, right? They won't be so shocked when they hear rhythm and blues and then also rock.
Wow.
And then there's also going to be like synthesizers, but the synthesizers aren't going to be really like featured the way that they are going to be on the next album after that. So then the next album after that is going to be like this straight up like Drake electronic album.
That's where I come. That's where you need to call me because I got you on that.
Like it's like hip hop, but I don't rap. I just sing, and it's all electronic. And the guitar solos are over the electronic stuff, and it's more like Jackie the Robot. But
can we talk about Jackie the Robot?
Well, hold on. And then the album between the blues album and this electronic album is going to be partially blues rock and partially electronic is what I'm trying to say. So like, it's like this 5-year period where, oh shit. Hold on. My battery is gonna die here.
Yeah,
soon.
My shit too. I need to plug my shit in. Hold on. Well, let's take a small break to plug our shit in.
Yeah.
So where were we? You were running down your 5-year plan, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like this blues album, then R&B, blues, synthy rock album, and then synth rock hip hop album.
The dynamic sounds dope, but I also love how you're planning the rollout too. To capture people the right way, because it could be dangerous doing a blues album out of fucking Austin, Texas, man. It really could be.
Yeah, it could be like that's the only thing that people know me for, unless I do a really great follow-up album that is close enough to blues to where I don't sound like I'm just trying to, I don't know, get a lot of attention. It sounds like a natural progression.
Totally. So just Vintage Machine is dope. I was listening to it. I like Reggie said earlier, you are an electronic artist as well, and you can really hear that in there. It's like it's fancy.
Yeah.
And it has a dope guitar. And I mean, powerful front woman obviously is displayed in the album. But I saw you live on the Stubbs videos before I listened to the album. So I wonder if that changed my perspective, because I was like already knew you were badass, like live, And then I kind of
you were like, yeah, Vintage Machine is what I expected to be badass. It's like
I mean, I don't know. That's not what I meant to say, but it definitely sounds different listening to the studio version for sure.
Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to make it so that you want the difference. Like when you go to a show, that's the only way you're ever going to experience it like that. A live recording is pretty good too, but there's something to be said for a sick hi-fi studio recording, man. Like that's an experience that these songs all kind of like deserve.
They deserve. I agree.
You know? They deserve to be like, hey, this is the song. When you come to the show, that's the show. But now you know like the format. And so when you're watching the show, you can be like, oh, cool, that's different from the studio. And that's why I'm enjoying the live.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
If someone
No, I
were
know
to
exactly
hear
what
you
you mean.
without a visual aspect first, it would just be more mind blowing to see you do it like all by yourself.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like first time I heard Eminem, I was like, yo, that's dope. And then I saw Eminem and I was like, yo, what the fuck? I kind of feel
it really sucks when you're let down. Yeah.
no, but I mean, you know, Eminem is my second favorite rapper of all time. My first favorite is Andre 3000. Everybody knows this. But like you, in that sense, you remind me of that. If I would have just like heard you on the radio or something, and then I saw you, I'd be like, oh shit! Like it does, you know, for whatever other. Yeah, but it does. It does, and I one, it does have that connotation, and two, but you're smart. Like you know that, so you're moving in that direction.
I've always just experienced really great recordings too, like that I love. I love the live ones too, but I also really love the recordings. Like there's something about them that I want to go back to, like a very specific pillow or blanket or something.
Right.
Hold on, my dog.
You got it. You got it.
I was watching there's a Kiss documentary that came out on biography, and I've only watched like the first episode, I think, so far, but I didn't know that they didn't blow up until their live album, which was their third album.
Kiss?
Their second album had Rock and Roll All Night or whatever on it, which is the fucking anthem for them, right? But then they didn't blow until their live album.
It didn't translate until
really
people. It
and
didn't
they had
translate.
right, exactly.
Right.
But there was a lot of studio modification on that live album too, is what they talked about.
Yeah,
they
of course.
overdubbed guitar solos and shit.
Well, but the foundation is put there. Like now you have a reason to fuck with this band.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And you have something that you can take with you. A live show is something that you can maybe only see once a year, if you're lucky. Maybe once in your life. Like I've seen Stevie Wonder twice. I don't know if I'll ever see him again. But I'll always have his recordings. Do you know what I'm saying? And so like that's why I learned a long time ago, songs are powerful and recordings are even more powerful.
And once it leave your hands, once you put it out in the world, Jackie, it don't even belong to you no more. I know it's your, it like
becomes absorbed into the human consciousness,
into the zeitgeist of the universe and into everything. You know what I'm saying? So
hopefully it makes an impact on someone on the way on the way out. I don't know.
Of course, a positive impact.
But you're headed on tour tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Colorado and Utah and Idaho and Wyoming.
Utah is trash. I'm sorry if you.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a music scene in Utah, but I don't like driving through there with weed on me.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm okay. I'm in a Ford F-150, the most popular vehicle in America.
Oh, they'll love your Texas plates over there too.
I'm gonna have a Texas plate, tinted windows. They're gonna think I'm a proud boy.
Hey, what are you good? You should be all right.
No, I mean honestly, my truck is raised up. That's really why that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna blend right in.
Well, yeah, no, you
if my truck wasn't so raised up, because it was pre-owned, it came that way. If my truck wasn't so raised up, I wouldn't think that way, but it is, so I blend right in.
The load light, it's like guitar, your machine or whatever your looper, and then you. Pretty
no, it's gonna be me and my samplers and Rodney.
Yeah.
Fucking Rodney. Shout outs to Rodney. Rodney's a drummer. Yeah. And he cool as shit.
You figured out how to take a damn rock band on the road in one.
Well, yeah, because the sample.
You go ahead.
Uh-oh. I don't even think she knows it. We can't hear you.
I'll text her. Hold on.
Oh.
There
Oh,
it
sorry.
is.
Did you that? Okay, where did you lose me?
Lost you right when you started talking about taking, you know,
Okay,
it's
so
just
I will the whole revolution. Oh shit. Hold on.
You good? Take your time.
So the whole revelation was instead of live loops, samples in sequence. Instead of a live loop, I'll have a static loop, and I will enter that static loop into a sequence. And I will have a sequencer that allows me to have patterns. And I will
you can move through it.
I'll put the different sections on different patterns. So I'll put the verse on pattern 1 and the chorus on pattern 2. So instead of making live loops with my feet, I'm going to be switching patterns or sections with my feet.
right.
Because instead of live looping, it's going to be samples in sequence. That was the revelation, and that's what led me to the sampler. The sampler allows me to have 16 samples, and I can organize those samples into any pattern, into up to 16 patterns. And most of my songs only have 5 or 6 patterns. So
You a motherfucking wizard, bro.
Talked about the songwriting earlier. That makes sense.
You are a fucking wizard. You figured it out.
Yeah. So
well,
dope.
the biggest thing, the other thing about this is that this sampler, so that was like the revelation in my brain, right? But the actual technology available was this sampler. And it has 8 outputs. So what I can do is I can put the bass parts of the various sections of my songs on their own output. And I can plug that directly 1/4 inch into a bass amp. And so I have hi-fi bass recordings going through
A
this bass amp next to a drum kit and a live drummer.
So
and then I have these hi-fi keyboard parts going out to the PA system, which is where they always were going to go, because the keyboard player just goes out to the PA system. And guess what? Here we are with a guitar amp on stage, a bass amp, and a pipe through the system, and on stage, a drum kit, a live drum kit, me on live guitar singing. Looks like we got a 5-piece band.
That's badass. I didn't know the part about the actually using the separate amps. That's brilliant.
Recreating stage volume. And the reason why I kept the drummer is because the drums stage volume cannot be recreated with speakers.
And Rodney's a badass drummer.
Well, Rodney's a badass drummer. He's like devoted to the project, but also if it weren't Rodney, it'd be someone else, because drums being hit with a wooden stick in stereo, like the snare is over here, but the crash is over there. You can't recreate that with speakers. That's the only instrument that can't be replaced by the sampler.
So you didn't compromise you're not going to use the 808.
No, because then it's not rock and roll anymore. You have to have a drum kit for it to be rock and roll.
Oh yeah, you definitely.
Right.
That's just the end of the story. If I want to be a hip hop or a sampling artist or a looping artist or a DJ, that's fine. And I will get rid of the drummer. But right now I'm singing rock songs. I need a drummer. Like Witchcraft is a fucking rock song. I need a drummer.
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I need a fucking drummer to do those fills and shit, dude. And then I do a reggae song. Dude, I need a fucking drummer.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Jackie always says I don't know her songs. She says I don't listen to her music, but I really do.
Hey man, I can sing all the words and make me feel.
Nice, I can dig that. See, that's an electric song. I can do that without a drummer. That's an electronic song, but it's better with the drums, I think.
Yeah, man, killer tune.
But only a little bit better. The solo show can be really pretty kick-ass. You saw the solo show on the Stubbs recordings.
Exactly, yeah.
On a big enough system, it can be badass, but it's not rock and roll anymore. It's like some weird electronic intersection with like trippy guitar and shit, which is also cool. None of these are better or worse, but if I want to do rock, I gotta have a drummer.
Totally.
I give you that.
I love that. Appreciate the show.
Well, we ain't gonna hold you too much longer because my phone
I gotta
is
go finish packing and stuff. So,
but I just wanna say this publicly and make this clear. You know this, but Jackie, I'm really proud of you, dude.
thanks.
Every time, check it out. Every time you come to a decision or something like that, like you fucking do it. And that, like, a lot of people, they have those same ideas that you had, but they didn't fucking do it. You do that shit every time. And you know, despite the fact that I think you're just a cool person in general, to watch you consistently hurdle these barriers in a real way in real life is very inspiring. And I want to highlight that, and I want to let people know that, like, hey, if you really want to do it, then this is the way that you do it, because you set down a clear blueprint.
The main part of our show is we like to highlight how people adapt, you know, how they pivot and to keep creativity, a creative lifestyle going on any level of success. And you're a great example of how to overcome, adapt, change, pivot. It's awesome. You got anything else, Reggie, or should we have Jackie tell everyone where they can find her? If they
Jackie, anything that you want to promote or put up, or wherever you want to tell the people to go find the information, because I think, you know, we'll have another podcast, because I feel like we didn't even go through everything. But in the meantime,
dude, we got to check in like a year or a year and a half.
Oh, dude, bro, you'll be nominated for a Grammy in a year or something.
So let's check in then, man. Just keep on like hitting me up on my phone and shit.
Nigga, I know where you at. I'll find you.
Yeah, just find me or something. Or like I'll just show up at a jam. Like just get me with my phone out and I'll just put you on the calendar. It's that easy.
Oh, you know, I will run up on you and I will accost you. Like, we were supposed to do this 2 weeks ago. But and man, Jackie, I really appreciate you for, like, I know you got a lot going on. I know you're busy. But I normally don't speak on both of our behalves, but in this instance I will. I think I could say that we are both very happy and appreciative that you took time out of your schedule to talk to us. We're not a big podcast yet or nothing like that. But we really, you know, we've been talking about this for months. So the fact that, and you went out of your way to make sure that you were here. And I personally, as your friend, really appreciate that. And I know Seabass appreciates that too. So we appreciate you. We love you. Anytime that you need anything, you know, a nigga is down.
All right. Sounds good, man. I'm playing at Antone's on September 5th. And so you should come hang out in the green room with me, smoke some blunts or something.
Oh, you already know. I know exactly where the green room is at Antone's. I know
the back door and everything. Just walk in, just be like, I'm her brother, and just like walk up the stairs.
I wish it, nigga. I man, I'd have met. Anyway, not about me.
Jackie Venson everywhere.
Yep, Jackie Venson, Venson.
Right now, the latest release is Vinitage Machine. Right?
Yes, it is. But I'm coming out with a new record this fall. So
awesome.
You gotta put me on the record, Jackie. I'm gonna call you and cuss you out.
Well, this is the blues record, so sorry, buddy.
Cool, man. Make sure y'all check out our sponsor, topofthegalaxy.com, for all your medicinal or recreational smoking and vaping needs. And we got a discount code on there. It's Yahoo, YAHOU. You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts, linktree/youaintheardofus. I'm at dosage_YAH. Reggie at Mr. Kobe with a 0.
Also, let's shout out the merch. I wish I had my shirt on.
youaintheardofus.store. We got shirts, coffee mugs. We're gonna have hats soon. Episode art, bumper stickers. Go grab all that stuff there. And yeah, man. I guess that's it. All right.
Peace.